Hi, everybody. This is Wayward Jessica 29, and welcome to Not Your Safe Zone. Tonight, we about to get into it, y'all. We're going to talk about the tensions in the Black community. And here, I got some amazing panelists with me. I have Miss Sequoia, uh, Perry the Poet, Original Keith, Miles the Ocean. Everybody say hi.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
buddy.
How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good. Chilling.
Doing great.
Doing pretty
Good.
good.
All right, so we about to get into it. Before that, can everybody introduce themselves? Who want to go first?
Bottom of the top.
Go ahead. Don't make me pick. Somebody go first.
I'll go first.
Hi,
So,
everyone.
you can go. Go ahead, Maj.
Hey, y'all. I'm Miles. I'm from Atlanta. I'm an aspiring dancer and choreographer and activist as well, and I'm glad to be here with you all.
Um,
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Javon, but I go by Original Keith on TikTok. Just graduated from college, so I'm a recent college grad going to um, graduate school this August, and I'm excited to be here with everybody tonight.
Okay, who
Go ahead,
want to go
Sequoia.
next?
Hello. Hi. My name is Sequoia. I'm just me, a 29-year-old living in Ohio, aspiring to move to Delaware next month. Yeah.
I know it's
Okay.
difficult living there, living in the sunken place. Ohio is the worst.
You know, some people
Okay,
have it better than others.
for real. All right, Perry, go ahead.
What's up, everybody? My name is Ralph Perry. I go by Perry the Poet or Perry on TikTok. I am 21 years old and about to go into the military, Army.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you for being willing to service our country. All right, y'all. Let's talk about it. We're just gonna hop right into it. Um, so we've had this discussion uh off camera before, but let's have it now about the the issues and tensions in the Black community. Let's start with gatekeeping. How do y'all feel about gatekeeping the Black community from, say, mixed people or light skinned people or white passing people? You know what? Let me backtrack. What do y'all consider Black? What is your definition of Black? Who wants to start? Go ahead, Sequoia.
I mean, you know, I honestly, when it comes to Blackness, I don't think it necessarily has a shade because Black comes in different shades. It comes in different accents, different body types, whatever. I feel like as long as you have Black in you, you're Black. That's it.
Okay, so let me ask you to clarify on that. Do you believe in the one drop rule?
I believe in the one drop rule. Yes, I do.
Okay, okay. Who would like to give their definition next? Go ahead, Miles.
It really depends on the setting and the people that you're around because a white passing person, I feel like, is obviously Black, but because they're white passing, they have to be careful what they say and how they say things around other white people because they are perceived as white. And so it would enable other white people to say things like the N-word when they're not supposed to. And even though the white passing person is Black, I feel like they have to regulate how they act around other white people specifically because, like I said, that they would enable white people to do something that it's not okay for them to do. I don't know if that makes sense at all.
I think it makes sense. So what you're saying is, white passing people to you are black. It's just they have to be aware of the spaces that they're operating in. Like, for say, you can't go into a space of a bunch of white people and just throw around the N word like you're kicking it with your homies. Like your black family might know that, your black community might know that, but these white people are gonna think that you're white, so they're gonna think that it's a pass to say that racist shit. And they're not gonna say it with the A. They're gonna hit it with the hard ER, because that's just how they always act when they think they get an N-word pass. Is that what you're saying, Miles?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. Anybody want to go next?
I'll go next. I think being black is loving yourself. Being black is excellence. I think as a black person, I have exuded both and had learned to love myself over time due to the system that we live in. It was kind of hard to love myself in my blackness, especially the country that we live in, where a lot of systems, in fact, all systems are not made for us. So from a young age until now, I had to really learn, like, okay, I'm black and I'm proud to be black and I love to be black no matter what. So that's my definition of being black for me.
So, and I just want to clarify for everybody that's watching at home. So what you're saying is that as long as you embrace your blackness and put your blackness first, you black, is basically what you're saying.
I agree. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, Perry.
Yeah, I don't have nothing really new to add to the conversation. I mean, a lot of people hit on great points. As far as like what it means to be black, I think it's definitely an internal, I guess, feeling or like identification, and it's really about like how you identify because like I think it was Javon. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong, but I struggled with my blackness too growing up because I didn't necessarily fit like the mold of what a lot of white supremacists want to think that being black means. And so I struggle with that too. So I don't like to necessarily try to tell somebody that they're not black or that they can't or that they aren't black. But I guess to me, like my idea as it stands, and this could change, but like I feel like, like having one black parent makes you black. And I feel like that's my personal definition. It could change throughout the course of the conversation, but like as it stands right now, like that's kind of how I feel with it, and like how I kind of identify or define being black.
Yeah, okay, I get that. For me, kind of like Javon and Perry said, I struggle. Anybody who has seen my TikToks knows I struggled with my blackness for a long time. I have a black father and a white mother, and my mother did not raise me to know. She raised me to not see color, essentially. So, I I didn't notice that my skin was darker than the rest of my family. I know these lights make me look like a whole white girl, but we come on now. But like, so when I would experience racism as a child, it was I would hear things like, I can't play with you because your skin's the color of poop. Or I would hear the N-word and I would tell my mom, and my mom wouldn't tell me what these things meant. She wouldn't tell me that it was racism. She just told me that it was bullying. And it ended up harming me more because I did not realize I was black until I met other black people, and I was almost 12 when that happened. So I had an identity crisis for a long time. In as far as what am I? Now today I'm black, and I wish somebody the fuck would tell me different. Um, for me, blackness is um, if you have a black parent and also what Javon said. If you put your blackness first, you're black. Um, I mean, just because I could be sitting right next to Candace Owens, and if neither of us open our mouths, people are gonna say that she's more black than I am, knowing that the shit that comes out of her mouth is that of a whole white woman. So, yeah, for me, that's just how I see blackness. So we've got some differing opinions and everything like that. And that I think that's amazing for this conversation. So let's talk about the gatekeeping. There's a lot of things that I've seen on TikTok, because I haven't personally experienced this in my real life. Anytime I've been around the black community, it's been I'm black, and there's never been a question. What are y'all's experiences with gatekeeping in the black community, and how do y'all feel about it? You know, people saying that you're not black enough, basically policing one's blackness, because either your black doesn't look like theirs, or because you don't like the same stereotypical shit that you're supposed to. What do y'all think about that? Who wants to go first? Don't make me pick.
I can definitely, yeah.
Okay.
I can definitely speak on this. So growing up, like I am and always have been a nerd. Like I own that, and there's something that I am like. I was always goofy. Like the way I speak, quote unquote white. I talk white, and like I was always told that. And then the music I listened to, so like there was no real music that I didn't listen to. So for context, let me backtrack a little bit. I was raised in a small town in Missouri, so like mid Missouri. Um, I knew I was black because it gets kind of hard to hide from me, and my parents did a really great job at like reinforcing what I liked, and like allowing me to be me at home. And so when I went to school, and like when I encountered friction, I fell back on my affirmations really. And it was kind of funny because like I would tell my parents what the kids would say at school, and then they would give me comebacks to say to them. And so it kind of became like like for instance, like, oh, like Ralph, you're weird because you like to wear this, and I was like, yeah, but who else has this? I'm unique. I was like, yeah, what's weird to you is cool to me. And then so like me owning that, I kind of like made me like cool. So it was kind of like nobody could really tell me anything until I really got like older, and then I started to be around more black black people and more black spaces. Then I felt kind of like an outcast at first because like I was like I walked and talked and spoke a certain way, and I didn't feel like I was accepted. But then of course, like for me, like I love to talk to people, so it only took a few black people to accept me. And then really like once I was accepted by black people that you know did happen to like the stereotypical stuff, or like did or like were perceived by the outside like world, or like the outside world as like ghetto, then I started to understand like, okay, well, like they just like that's just how they raise, like that's just how they talk. And then now I'm at a point where it's just like, I know that my black people love me. Like I know my black family loves me, and I know that, I feel the safest and most comfortable around them because I don't have to put on a front. Like I don't have to watch what I say and like not necessarily offend them. Because as I got older, like the more white spaces that I was in, I would find myself like having to police myself so that I wouldn't hurt nobody's feelings. So like that's kind of like my experience like with gatekeeping. So like now it's like people can try to tell me that I'm not black enough, or like like they can try, but it's not gonna work. So like that's kind of like been my experience with being gatekeeping. And so because of that, I don't like to gatekeep anybody else. I like to show support for that person if they're like alternative.
Go ahead, Miles.
Yeah, jumping off of that, I have a very similar experience because I talk white, or I have gotten that I act white, or I eat white food, or some of the things that I drink are white. And I've never been called white for my appearance, but a lot of the mannerisms that I have, or the way that I talk or carry myself, people knew that I was mixed, which I'm not really mixed. Like, my mother has a white mom and a black dad, and then I have a black father and a mixed mother. So it's interesting when I get comments like, "Oh, you're not black, you're mixed," or "Oh, you're acting white, you're talking white." Well, like, I am still black, I still go march and protest. So I never really understood why I was getting those comments or why I was getting that feedback. And it was essentially a product of gatekeeping and trying to say, "Oh, you're not black enough. Oh, well, you can't do this, you can't do that." But I do my research, I read up on things, I speak for people who are darker than me, and who have different experiences than me. So gatekeeping is, in this conversation, like, as far as gatekeeping who's black enough and who's not, it's very foolish. So yeah.
I want to piggyback off of that too. Um, so my mother is black and Puerto Rican, and my father's black and Indian. So growing up, because I didn't really know my father was black and Indian, I always stand by them. I dealt with it from both sides. So I had people telling me, "Oh, you're not black enough because you so articulate," and then I had Hispanic people telling me, "Well, you don't speak Spanish, so you can't be Hispanic." So I had people questioning my blackness and my background being Puerto Rican as well. So growing up, I had battled a lot with my black people and my Hispanic people. So I had to learn from a young age, like, okay, I got to learn how to love me and put me first. I don't really care about other people's opinions about me because they don't know me like that. So anybody that's known me for years or know how I am knows that I don't really care about other people's negative opinions about me. You could say that I talk white, I act white, I eat white, I portray myself white. I don't care about that. I know deep down I've always been black and always will be black and fight for the black cause and be for the black cause. I think a lot of times people forget that they need to stop judging us because we quote unquote present ourselves. We're not stereotypical. I'm not the stereotypical black man. I've never been locked up. I don't have a lot of kids. That's the narrative that's always pushed onto us. You know what I'm saying? And my mother's not a stereotypical black woman. She's not loud. She's not ghetto. She's not aggressive. All these stereotypes stem from white supremacy, where white people have
Hold on,
shifted
hold
and
on, hold on,
created
hold on. Javon,
uh,
can you say that one more time? Say that last
all
part
these
one more
stereo,
time.
all these negative stereotypes were crafted from white supremacy. It's crafted from whiteness. White people look at us, right? Us five on this panel as black people. They see this and they're like, well, what is what they said? Like, how can we trip them up? Like, what can we possibly do? White people have a microscope on black people as a collective rather than individually. And they're waiting for us to fail, right? So I feel like gatekeeping, like Miles said, based, on how black someone is, it's very dumb and childish. Because how can you ever say to yourself, well, he's not black enough because he doesn't wear chains. He's not black enough because he doesn't wear grills. He's not black enough because he doesn't rap or play basketball. I never liked basketball when I was younger. Never. I never gravitated towards the sport of basketball because not only was I not good, but I just never found, interest in the sport. And what was that lady's name? I forget her name, but she told LeBron James to shut up and dribble. So to you, we only act to pretend like that's disrespectful. So like I
That was
said,
Laura Ingram.
yes, from Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I don't care what anybody has to say to me. I know that every single day I'm a black man and I'm a black man. I'm black first, then a man second. But I'm always gonna be black first, no matter what.
Okay. Sequoia, I saw you had your hand up.
Um, so it sounds like there's a pattern in us, not because all of us have. I know I have, and well, you have too. Okay, hold on. It's like a common pattern here amongst us. Like, we just don't fit into the stereotypical box that Black people are placed in as a collective. Um, I know with my family, like, I've always been weird because I've never like liked everything that everybody else liked, and I don't talk like everybody else, and I don't share the same interests. I'm more ambitious. Uh, my mindset was a lot more. I guess I expected better for myself than everybody else did for themselves. So it was like when I did something major, it's like, oh well, you're not being Black. You're disowning where you come from, and you're making Black people look bad, and all this other stuff. But like, I mean, it. And then in my city, it's like this constant as a collective, like the mindset of Black people, it's like we constantly in that city are pushing stereotypes on each other. Like, I remember there was one time I was pushing my niece around in her stroller, and somebody walked up to me and they're like, oh, I heard you had a baby. Is that your baby? And I'm like, no, this is my niece. Oh, well, everybody's been saying that you have a baby. So it's kind of like Javon said, like white supremacy, like push this on us, and then we push it on each other. So that's it.
I agree, definitely. You know, have you noticed? Has anybody noticed that it's the same people that will get mad at a white person for stereotyping them, that will sit there and in one breath say that we are the blueprint, Black women have the Eve gene, um, that we can give birth to any shade, any color, um, because a Black woman was at the beginning of all human life. But we'll sit there and say you're not Black enough because you don't look Black. I mean,
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's
make it
weird to
make
me.
sense. How
it's so
100%.
how
weird to
can
me.
you sit
One thousand
there and
percent.
say that the Black diaspora, the African diaspora, comes in all shades and colors, all phenotypes, all hair textures, everything, because we're the blueprint of life? But then tell somebody to their face that's white passing or mixed, light skin, whatever, or like fucking Harry Potter, even, that they're not Black enough because your Black don't look like mine. What kind of dumb shit is that? Make it make sense. It makes no sense. Either we are the blueprint or we're not. To me, that's internalized Blackness. That's internalized anti-Blackness. I don't know about y'all. What do y'all
I definitely
think?
agree. I definitely agree. Oh, sorry. I just want to say this one thing. I definitely agree. And like one thing that I had to realize in myself, I forget who told me this. There was somebody that was, a lot smarter than I was. And someone in my family that was, but they said you need to stop trying to rationalize irrational thought. I'm gonna say it again. You need to stop trying to rationalize irrational thought. So like whenever stuff like that like is said to me or coming across my scope, it's like, okay, you're not you and yourself, like what you just said, it makes no sense because I see how you act and then I hear what you say. And then so it's like if those two things don't mesh, then it's like, okay, I can't try to take I'm not going to take what you said as fact because your words are not matching your actions. So then I start questioning like that. And then like that's where I don't, well, like that's what's helped me not let stuff like really get to me like that. Because it's like, how can I listen to you if you're not even making sense? If you're lying to yourself, why am I going to take what you're saying to me as fact?
I I agree. Because I would probably like I'm a black nerd too. Like I embrace my black nerdiness. how intelligent I am when it comes to certain topics like this. So I feel like people that want to question like your blackness, do you really love yourself? I don't think you love yourself to be sitting here questioning me on how black I am. Right? Like, so for instance, right, someone will say, well, I don't like fried chicken. I'm gonna revoke your black card. Why are you gonna revoke my black card? 'Cause I don't like chicken. Because I don't eat fried chicken. Not every single black person you know eats fried chicken and watermelon. Like there's somebody on TikTok, she eats watermelon aggressively. Or like when you do stereotypical things on social media,
Is you talking about
especially black
Johnny
people.
Watermelon? Johnny
Yes,
whatever. Look, okay,
yes,
that's a different story
yes,
because that bitch is doing nothing but pandering the Mandingo trope to fucking white people. I can't stand her. I can't stand
absolutely.
her at all.
I agree, Jessica, because like I said, like I alluded to earlier, white people are watching us every single day, whether we are on TikTok, fan base, whatever app, whatever we're doing in the public view, whatever we're doing in real life, they're watching all of us to see which one of us is going to fail and slip up so that they can come in, swoop in, and try to be that white savior, flexing that white savior complex that they've always had since before slavery, since before they were taking us away from Africa, since during when they was trying to kill off an entire population of native people for land. A lot of people forget about manifest destiny and westward expansion. All of that killed people. All of that was responsible from taking our ancestors over their land and us not knowing what part of Africa we are from. If you sat here and you asked me right now, Keith, like, what part of Africa are you from? I can't tell you that. I don't know what part of Africa my ancestors or my origins go deep into. I don't know myself. My mother doesn't know. My father doesn't know. None of my grandparents knew. I only know that my origins is somewhere in Puerto Rico. That's it. I don't know what other part of Africa. I don't know what part of Africa I'm originally from or could be from. And white people took that from us. So when black people want to say, well, I want to break free from the chains that white people have put on us, but then flex the same exact attitudes as racist white people, you're no better than them. And it's always the coons that do it too. They always want to try to question somebody's blackness. It doesn't make any sense to me. So
But then and I've noticed lately, especially since Trump era, these coons are the same ones who want to hold their entire identity on being a black conservative. Why the fuck can't you just be a conservative? You got to be a black conservative. So the white people that racist white people can, invite you to the whatever their cookout is or whatever. It doesn't make sense. Like, why? I don't understand the pandering to white people. I don't. However, this is something we needed to discuss because a lot of people that look like me, a lot of mixed people and light skinned people subscribe to those stupid ass notions. And we only look at half of the reason why that happens. Yes, we can blame it on problematic white women having mixed children, not raising them in their black culture. But what we also need to address is the fact that there that the fully black community is also pushing people, like pushing mixed people and light skinned people out of the community because of the mistrust, which I understand, but I don't agree with, because that's ultimately you're literally pushing part of the African diaspora to assimilate to whiteness. And then you negate their blackness. You tell them they're not black enough because their black don't look like you're black, or they like other fucking shit than you just because they listen to a little honky tonk badonkadonk or some stupid shit. And then when they reiterate these racist talking points, y'all are like, what are you doing? You're black. And you're like, but I wasn't black 10 minutes ago. I wasn't black enough for you then. Why am I black enough now? So we need to
And I
address,
think
I think we need to address the whole fact that um, we are doing harm to our own community by doing that as well. Go
you
ahead.
are. Oh no, I was gonna add on to that, and I think like, you know, as well as being pushed out by the black community, it's also that white acceptance. Because one thing that racist white people love is hearing a black person reinforce the same things that they've been trying to push themselves. And so when you have somebody that is lighter skin or even dark skin or whatever, if they're black conservative, you know, um, I think certain people who are intelligent enough to be able to monetize that, I think that that plays a big part into it, because it's like, okay, if it basically goes back to like selling your soul almost, where it's like, yeah, like I can sit here and spew a bunch of anti-black rhetoric and be accepted by the white people, and then throw up a Cash App or a GoFundMe, and all these racist white people are going to support it, because and it's just a fact of the matter is that they oftentimes have a lot more power and clout in the society to where they can elevate these people up. Like, for example, Candace Owens, we mentioned her earlier. She's found a way to monetize being anti-black and spew anti-black rhetoric to the point where she has a platform, she has X amount of followers, she's making X amount of money, and like for her, it's a way to make a living, and it's like I can, it's kind of like I can understand it, while not agreeing with it, but it's just like I think that could be a part of, if not the full explanation, as to how we get these people that are spewing anti-black rhetoric, and it's really just it really circles back to the point that we've been making earlier. It's like we gotta get back to accepting and loving everybody in our community, as opposed to shunning them and trying to and hurting people, because like it right now it feels like we're all in the cycle of abuse, where it's like, okay, well, like a dark skinned person, they've been getting hate from light skinned people, so they're going to return that to the next light skinned person, because the saying, hurt people. And so I feel like as a community we have to look within ourselves and like heal our inner child, or in the children, so that way we can be able to show love to everybody in the diaspora, because a lot of us are holding on to trauma and stuff that's happened to us from when we were younger, and it's like, to a certain degree I can understand it, but when are you going to heal yourself? Like, when are you going to like let that go so that you can grow as a person? And I think that we really need to, and like that's why I'm a big advocate for mental health in our community, because it's just like, once you're able to sit and talk with a counselor without that stigma of being touched, or having something wrong with you, or like once you're able to seek mental health from a professional, or even just from somebody that has the the training or the knowledge, then you can start to heal. Like for me, I'm a big nerd, as I mentioned earlier. So for me, it was less so seeking help, but it was more so reading about it. I was like, okay, like I'm okay. I know I'm feeling this. I can recognize what I'm feeling. Why am I feeling it? So then I dove deep into psychology. I dove deep into philosophy and started to understand why I feel the way I feel. And it's like, I'm not gonna go as far as to self-diagnose, but like that was a real like that was a it was a good starting point for me to really do some self-healing and like introspection and grow. And I feel like we need to get back to that.
I agree. Real quick, though, we got Miss Lauren in here, and I want her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself,
What's
because she was
going
in the
on?
comments going hot. Hey,
All the
girl.
time, all the time. Hey y'all, hey y'all. I'm Lauren. I consider myself an activist. I fight for my people on a daily basis. I think I'm pretty cool now. I think I'm pretty smooth operator. It ain't too much to me. I'm your basic regular degular. Just me.
Yes, well, we love you. And you had so much to bring to the conversation last time we were talking about this. So I'm glad you are here. Okay, so um did anybody have anything to say to piggyback off of what Perry said? Okay, Sequoia, I see you messing around with your mic. Go ahead and unmute yourself, girl. We'll wait.
Yeah, it is very significant to like confront ourselves on a mental level instead of just being like, oh, something's wrong with me and only focusing on the surface issues. Because, like, at the end of the day, even if you like change where you stay, kind of like, parents moving their kids to like the suburban area because it's nicer and there's more opportunities, even then, like parents they could possess like toxic traits where it's like um kids don't get really good grades when they're in this nice school that their parents are paying for, and then they're extremely hostile, which goes back to like trauma. So it's like you haven't done any work healing, and then you're passing it on to a kid. And that kid is going to continue that cycle because they don't fully understand why it happened. And then they're going to pass it down to their kids because they're like, well, this is how my parents loved me. So, it's probably not that bad. And like when you don't take the time out to hold yourself accountable, I think that's where like mental health becomes an issue to the community, because it's like you want the change, you want to benefit from the things that are happening, but you don't want to admit that there are things that are not quite right, and you don't want to be accountable. Like everything is the white man's problem or it's the government's problem. But like we have our own problems. We can't just sit and reap the benefits of people putting in work for us and us not having to change our habits. That's some colonizing behavior right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can't expect for anybody to advocate for us except for ourselves. We can't expect white people to lead the movement of Black Lives Matter. I mean, it don't affect them; it affects us. You can't expect um you can't expect white people to start asking for reparations for us. We have to do that. And I feel like because we are not dealing with our generational trauma, the trauma that goes on within the home, um, and things like ableism and homophobia, mental health, like y'all were talking about, um, we can't even agree on how to handle these things within our own community. How, yes, what Casper said. Y'all don't get an opinion, white people. Just sit and listen.
We don't want any white opinions during this time. People. Thank you.
Please, Cassidy, keep the fuck out.
Goodbye.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You may watch. You may not participate. Thank you. That's
agreed. So basically, how do we expect to defeat this monster of white supremacy when we can't defeat our own monsters? When we won't accept that we're hurting. So it's okay to like
Hold
go
on,
to
say
therapy.
that again, say. Oh no, say that again for the people in the back. Say that again for the people in the back.
How do we expect to defeat the monster of white supremacy if we will not even deal with our own monsters? How?
Like accountability
what y'all think about
is
that?
a big thing in our community. We do not take accountability for the things that we have done. Me as a person and as a Black woman, it took me a while to take accountability for the things that I have done, especially against my own people. Hating myself as a Black woman, I was taught by society that I'm not good enough. And when it comes to mental health within the Black community, it is instilled in us. If we go speak to somebody, automatically we're crazy. We got to be crazy. It's got to be something wrong with us mentally, because we shouldn't have no mental issues, regardless of the years of trauma being placed on us. But we take so much of the things that have happened or we have been taught during colonization and until now that we don't take accountability for it. It's okay to demonize a Black woman. It's okay to tell a Black person they not Black enough because this is what has been taught to us. But what we have not been taught is accountability. We have to take accountability. It's a big ass word and it takes a lot. It don't take a day in order to actually learn the rights and wrong and to educate yourself, but you got to take accountability for your actions so we can grow as a people.
I definitely agree. All right, anybody got anything else for me? Go ahead, Javon.
I 100% agree, and I love like what they say in the chat. Like when we're having these conversations, white people, please sit down. As a matter of fact, don't even come in the room. It is Black people having a dialogue amongst Black people. This ain't for you. This ain't your space to come in and interject how you always do. Let's talk amongst each other, amongst kings and queens, amongst brothers and sisters. Let us sit down, have a conversation. We say this to white people. Oh my God, I just want to come in and sit and talk. No, this is not the time for you to talk. We hear you talk all the time. You're always interjecting yourselves into our business all the time. And then, right, these so-called allies want to, instead of listening to us, they want to speak over us, right? So
say it again. Say it the fuck again.
Instead of these wanna-be allies wanting to speak for us, they want to speak. Instead of wanting to speak with us, they want to speak for us, right? And there's a difference. When you speak side by side with us, you are agreeing, but at the same time, you're listening to us. When you want to speak for us, you're not listening to us. You're not even trying to see us. At one moment, you think you are Black. Like I seen a dozen protests happening last year. All these white people inciting violence, right? And then you just notice them just casually going to the back. You don't see them anymore. All you see is a bunch of Black people being attacked by police, being killed, rubber bullets being shot at them, tear gas. It was ridiculous in Minneapolis after George Floyd died. The fact that police had the audacity to do that, knowing that this man was on camera, we just watched. I just had to watch, like my friend said in the video, a Black man dying out here on the street, and he's not the first, and unfortunately won't be the last until this system changes. But we can't help it to change the system until we deal with the trauma that has been passed down since slavery. We were conditioned to think that abusing kids was a thing. Oh, you know what? I turned out fine. I've been beat when I was a kid. Absolutely.
And that is the mentality of beat your kid before the slave master beat your kid.
Exactly. I've been beat dozens of times.
And to just piggyback real quick, when you was talking about George Floyd, no white people gave a damn when it was Rodney King. No white people gave a damn when it was Dr. King. No white people gave a damn when it was Malcolm X. Not a fucking one. They made what happened to George Floyd a fucking trend. And the fact that we watched this man suffocate for 9 minutes at the hands of this police officer, and we still didn't know the fucking outcome of the trial, that just proves why we scream in the streets, Black Lives Matter. Because if it was a white person, this shit wouldn't be fucking happening. And for any white person that wants to come in these motherfucking comments and say, oh, it happens to white people too, you should be fucking mad too. I don't want to hear a goddamn word.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry. I'm moderating the comment section. Don't worry about that. Y'all carry on, Kimfolk. I got y'all.
Okay. Yeah. So before I end my point, because I want to speak, I don't want to take up the floor. I agree with Jessica, 100%. And A lot of white people, like I saw a video of a white girl, she spray painting when they was boarding up all of the stores because people were damaging stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they was trying to group together protesters, rioters, and people who were looting. Rioters, looters, and protesters are three different kinds of people. We are not all of the same. The media was eating this up, eating it up, saying, well, look at them. They're savages. They're destroying these stores. You're damn right. Because you know why? We tired of y'all. Burn it all down. I agree. Burn it. I don't care. My people build it. We're going to burn it. Since y'all don't want to listen or respect us and you want to kill us for simply stating how we feel, for simply giving our opinions on what's going on, you want to kill us? George Floyd was accused of a counterfeit $20 bill, and it came out that that wasn't a fake 20. That was a real $20 bill. So let me see. I can't go shopping when I'm black. Can't drive while black. Can't go outside with a black hoodie. Can't go to the store while black. I can't do none of that. I'm gonna be racially profiled.
Look, like,
It makes sense.
white people not 6 times more likely to be shot and killed by police or white supremacists. They are not 3 times more likely to be pulled over by police, and they are not 4 times more likely for a stop and frisk. So that it happens to us too is bullshit, because I have literally watched videos of white men driving off from police officers, and them police officers is not chasing after them like they would a black person. They will literally chase down and gun down. They will hunt that black person just to shoot and kill them. Like I said, hunt them down, or say, look, they ran, they took off. No, they knew what the law was. They told you exactly what their laws was, and they drove off, and you pursued them, and you hunted them down like a buffalo, like a deer. You hunted them. We are fair game to you people. We are fair game, and y'all not gonna stop until we become an endangered species. We already an endangered species in the United States of America. It's more of us around the world, and that's what also we fail to believe as a community. They got us so tricked that we are the minority and we can't do shit. But they keep us oppressed for a reason. They don't want all of us to come together. They poison our minds for a reason. And for the times of slavery and beating, what I read from one of the plaques at the Whitney plantation here in New Orleans was that children didn't even get beaten, in their first time ever being beaten was by a slave master. And the punishments that they had, like, they would put them in a box in a room, and they had to stand on one leg and could not move. If they did, they would get beat. If they like, they would just get whipped. These are kids. We did not have that mentality of beating our kids until colonization. We all were together as a people, educating our people, and had the greatest university in Africa. We taught Europeans, colonizers, everything they know today. We invented every motherfucking thing, and people always fail to realize we were once property. So everything that they took from us, they put their names on top of. If it wasn't for slaves, y'all wouldn't have none of the shit that y'all got today. None of it.
Facts. Facts. All of it. Facts.
I'm gonna
We
just
did
say
it.
this.
Blueprint.
I'm gonna say this to piggyback off of your first point. There's a reason why you don't see cops and white supremacists in the same room. It's the same reason why you don't see Superman and Clark Kent in the same motherfucking room.
Let me act like it's a hood.
Exactly. I'm saying. And first of all, I just want to say I didn't know you were in New Orleans. I don't know how the hell you vegan in New Orleans. Like, you a whole different kind of strong.
Man,
I couldn't do it.
Here,
They got too much tasty food,
I
man.
can do it. And the first couple of months, man, I'm like, oh man, oh, this is gonna be hard because the seafood smells so good. I just want some
Literally.
crawfish. God, I just want it. I want the red beans and rice with the pork inside of it. And
Yes.
I couldn't do it. They got some nice vegan spots out here though, Black owned, and I frequent those.
Look, girl, don't go and try to make me hungry now, okay? We supposed to be having a conversation. You're all going to see me eat my little rice cakes in a second. Okay, does anybody have anything else they would like to piggyback off of what Javon and Lauren said? Go ahead, Miles.
So I think it was Javon, and he made a distinction between like rioters and looters and protesters. And I want to go back to that for two reasons. One, because when white people say, oh, you shouldn't be rioting, you shouldn't be destroying everything, yes, we should, because we built this shit, first of all. And second of all, it becomes a conversation about respectability politics, and you have to be respectable enough to be heard by white people, which is white supremacy. But second of all, and this is like my personal experience in Atlanta, the first time we had a protest down here, it was like a protest from like 11 to 3, and then it was a riot after 3 when they started tear gassing. But anyways, Keisha Lance Bottoms, which is our mayor, she's a Black woman, T.I. and Killer Mike held a press conference right after. And my friends and I were at home watching the news, watching the press conference. And Keisha Lance is like, y'all are destroying our cities. We'll show y'all how to really protest, blah, 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 blah. And so me and my friends are looking like, bitch, we did protest. Like from 11 to 3, everything was peaceful. We marched here and we marched back and it was cool until we started seeing tear gas behind us.
And that's what I noticed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you at all.
No, you're
That's
good.
what I've noticed about a lot of protests. We come peaceful. We don't have no weapons on us. And when I was in Milwaukee, they literally checked to make sure no matter how many people showed up, nobody had nothing on them. But we are sitting here and we're met with army, with military weapons, with military cars, all of that. Y'all come ready to start something. In the videos that were floating around after George Floyd was murdered on national TV for the world to see, Black people were literally saying, this is not us. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. This is them. And then come to find out, it's FBI agents undercover. It's CIA agents undercover. These people are telling you exactly what's going on, and you want to continue to blame it on the protesters, but they're literally just sitting there. And then you shoot rubber bullets at them. Black women with a rubber bullet straight to the head. Thank God it wasn't a real bullet and it didn't go straight through it, because it still did damage. These people are not what y'all think it is. It's the police who are initiating these riots, because it's not a riot until they start the shit that they start.
And I noticed, I was talking to my mom one day, and I noticed that, I was kind of talking to her about, everything, and I said to her, I said, because she didn't understand. So I'm in Wisconsin, so the Jacob Blake shooting happened not too far from me.
Yes, I'm from Milwaukee.
Yeah, girl, we need to link up. But so we were talking about it, and she was like, I don't understand all the looting and all the looting and rioting, white people shit. And I said, Mom, stop being a white girl. We're not doing this milk cricket shit. Anyhow, after I explained it to her, she got it, and apologized for not getting it. But I had to say to her, I said, you're white. So when you think of the cops, you see protectors. Us Black people, when we look at the cops, we see executioners. It's a whole different world out there for us. We see things in a different way. You see a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and you think, oh yeah, he made it for himself. We're seeing somebody that got rich off of stepping on the backs of Black people. We see somebody that definitely took food out of our children's mouths. So, 93% of Black Lives Matters protests were peaceful. And of the 7% that were not, what color do you think it was of the people who fucking started it?
White. It is white.
I mean,
White.
walking around the streets looking like a whole frosted chicken. So, I mean, stop trying to blame us for this shit. Stop it. And allies, stop breaking shit
We don't
in
have
our name.
We don't have those.
I
That's
mean,
another
exactly.
that's another thing. Like we're
Exactly.
not.
If you call yourself an ally and you feel like you need to announce it, you're not an ally. We have accomplices.
There you go. I was just about to say that. Like we don't do allies no more. It's accomplices because yeah.
I was going to piggyback off of Lauren because I went to a protest last year. It was like during George Floyd down in like Dayton or whatever. So when I first got there, I saw like military tanks and like a bunch of cops and like some military cars. Like I already knew like some shit was about to go down. So we protest for about maybe 2 hours. The cops started throwing tear gas at people, shooting them with bullets, all this other stuff. So I went to my hotel room because they decided to throw out a curfew on people. Mind you, it's like 7:30, right? Oh, everybody has to be in their houses at 8. Some people came here from out of town, and our cars are parked extremely far from where we started protesting. So I went to my hotel room. I get to my hotel room. Immediately on the news, you see people handcuffed on their knees on the ground, cops' cars, cops surrounding them. You see a bar that got busted up by police officers. Law enforcement went into a bar, busted out every single glass window they had, and claimed that they were doing a search because they heard that the bar was serving underage people, even though the bar was closed that day, and all they did was hand out water to protesters. The officer, the chief or whatever, gets into a press conference and he's like, oh, well, you know, the protesters, they were getting violent and they attacked the police first and all this other stuff. And then they interview one of the bar employees, and the bar employee is like, I want to stress that no protester did this to our bar. The cops came in here and they destroyed our bar, knocked over bar stools, all that. It was a wreck. And then the chief says, oh yeah, those protesters are dangerous. That's why we had to lock up some of them and throw tear gas and stuff at them when they incited the violence.
You know, the first protest that I ever did was there was a young gentleman in Milwaukee by the name of Dontre Hamilton. He had mental health issues and he was laying on the park bench. The police had already did a wellness check. He wasn't bothering anybody. He was just laying there. And this one dumbass cop brought his ass to the park and started to harass him. Now, Dontre Hamilton is still laying face down when he is shot in the back. They swore he was trying to grab for his baton, but how can you grab for a baton when you're laying face down? For the Jacob Blake, when Jacob Blake was shot, and we didn't know if he was gonna make it or not, and it's a blessing that he did. Thank God. They lied about that knife being in the car because there was not one. They did not find one in the search. And one of the protests, a woman came on TV, national TV, and was like, it's not the protesters doing this. The protesters were peaceful the whole entire time. Basically saying the same exact thing that Koya said. It wasn't the protesters who did it. They were very peaceful. It wasn't the protesters. It was the police who started shooting. It's ridiculous that we're trying to fight for justice and still have to fight the injustices and you expect us to be peaceful. But when the Black Panthers turned around and showed you we about to match that same energy, y'all started trying to put them gun laws into play. Oh, these niggas got guns. Oh, they trying to fight back. They trying to stand up for themselves. So it's not peace ain't always meant to be met with violence. It can't always be that, because look at what happened to Martin Luther King. When Malcolm X decided to go peaceful, look what happened to Malcolm X. They're gonna try to destroy you regardless of anything. We gonna feed you this same energy. I don't give a rat's ass. I'm finna start. We finna start. It's nothing more. It's peaceful. And if you want us to actually start a riot, you're about to see how we gonna start a fucking riot.
Can I just say one thing? History lesson for everybody watching. Some of y'all may not know, especially the non-black people. Dr. King did not die right away when he was shot. Okay?
No, he
was
not.
murdered at the hospital. So when white people try weaponizing the words of Dr. King in order to silence black voices and to tell us how to protest the murder of our children, our brothers, our sisters, our siblings, our mothers, our fathers, our parents. Give me the word I'm looking for, y'all, because all I can think of is some dumb fuck shit.
It's infuriating.
It is. It's infuriating. It's insulting. The fact that you look at me and you tell me that I need to follow the example of the man that they murdered. Y'all murdered him. And you want me to be just like him. Because it's easier for you. Trust and believe that my black ass has never given a fuck what is easier for you. Never. So just going forward, please do not fucking quote Dr. King to us. Please don't. Because riot is the language of the unheard. Go ahead, Perry.
No, I was gonna say that it's crazy because his daughter Bernice is still alive, and she's very active on social media. On Twitter is where I follow her at, and it's funny because she talks about the same stuff. Where she's like, like people try to misuse or misquote my father when it's like y'all don't even know the full like y'all forgetting that he said this, or y'all forgetting that he says this, and it's so funny because especially in and around his birthday, she I'm pretty sure she tweeted something along the lines of, for anybody that wants to quote my dad today, don't forget that he believed that the only way for us to truly be free was to get away from capitalism or something along those lines. And it's just like, it's funny to me how people will try to quote Dr. King, but like not even listen to his daughter in most cases, because when I mentioned Bernice King, they're like, who is that? It's like, that's his daughter, and she's done a lot of great things for her. Like, that's Dr. Bernice King. Like, that's his daughter. Like, she's made a name for herself, and she's done, and she's still fighting for her community. So it's like, don't talk to me about Dr. King if you're not going to talk to me about Dr. King. Like you feel me? Like, it's like, there's not just Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it's Dr. Bernice King, and it's disrespectful and a slap in the face because you're just using it. It's there's a term for it. I can't think of it right now, but it's like when it's confirmation bias, because like you're searching for quotes that confirm your own internalized biases already, and like it's just like you can't do that in good faith.
100%. 100%. Does anybody have anything else they would like to speak on this topic?
The same people who quote Martin Luther King Jr. are the very descendants of the people who assassinated him. And you don't do your research, you don't.
Hold on. Somebody is asleep. Say that loud and again, please, so they can wake the fuck up.
Oh. Those same people. Let me stop. Okay. Those same people who use the quotes of Martin Luther King Jr. are the very descendants of the people who assassinated him. with them same racist ideals and continue to use his quotes without even researching who he was from the beginning up until his death. Martin Luther King wasn't always peaceful, and people forget that. How many times he went to jail, was hosed, all of that. Martin Luther King wasn't always peaceful. But in order for them to stop doing as much damage to him, that's when he decided to go ahead and coddle their feelings and agree to their terms. But he wasn't always peaceful. So here you are quoting the same man your ancestors assassinated. And you still have them same ideals that your ancestors passed down from generation to generation. So why the fuck do I need to listen to you about who the fuck need to be peaceful? Because I'm not here to coddle your feelings, Mr. White person, you translucent terrorists, discharge gremlins. This is
I
not
love
for me
white
to
tears. It
coddle
keeps me
your
hydrated.
fragility, and I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck about your tears. I drink them on a daily basis. I said in one of my videos, I drink them on a daily basis. They give me hydrations. Now here's a platter with your ass on it. I don't got time for this shit. Don't quote Martin Luther King without knowing the true history behind Martin Luther King Jr. and what he actually stood for.
It's the fact that they use him as the palatable black man when if Dr. King was alive today, he would be considered anything but. All right. So let's move on a little bit. Um, let's talk about ableism and homophobia. I know we talked about this a little bit off here. The fact that a lot of homophobia that comes from cis straight black men, um, it's generational trauma from buck breaking. Um, so does anybody want to give their opinions on that?
Well, as a cisgender heterosexual black man, I was told that being gay is sin growing up by a lot of my family. Because I'll be honest, my family is homophobic, transphobic, and colorist. Yeah, my grandmother's side of the family is very much so. And doing so, I had to shape my mind into thinking, well, I love everybody, but I have to also be mindful of the conversations which people will have around me. Like a lot of my black friends growing up would be like, like I don't like gay people, they just make me feel weird. And I would question, like, I know a lot of gay people. They don't make me feel anything. In fact, we always have good laughs, good times together. We chill together. I never have any type of uncomfortability of anybody a part of the community. So, and then I also think to myself, like, someone who has to always use and recognize the word gay, I think you're gay yourself, but you don't want to say it because it has been weaponized in the black community for so long that we think to ourselves, well, it's bad, it's not acceptable, it's not the palatable sexuality that we're supposed to get because heterosexuality has been the default sexuality for society for a long time. And a lot of different, there's not in us learning about different sexualities outside of heterosexuality. A lot of people are like, well, no, like I'm heterosexual. Why are they always pushing this on us to accept other people? Because don't you want to be accepted yourself? You would want that. Everybody wants some kind of acceptance because it is hard already to live as black people. Imagine being a black gay man in society having to fight for your rights every single time. That's human rights, just basics. That's just common sense. Just accept people for who they whether or not it's against how you may live or just how society is. It's been hard to break away from that for a lot of people, especially on TikTok where I see a lot of homophobic and transphobic comments just being thrown left and right without people examining the situation before saying something, like just regurgitating out disrespectful information without people, or reading the room. Like ask someone who's a part of LGBTQIA plus, like ask them. Or like you should always be doing, do your research. Go on Google. I understand.
Yeah. And I would also like to point out um the fact that the the trans mortality rate, especially of Black trans women, is substantially higher than um, than anyone else as far as hate crimes go. They are targeted, and a lot of the times they are targeted by their own community, by the Black community. At what point, and I'm asking all Black people here, at what point did we stop valuing our own lives so much and subscribing to white Christianity so much that we stopped giving a damn about our sons and daughters just because they are trying to be who they are? At what point? I would love to fucking know.
Colonization did all of that, because even before the Bible in Africa, and this is what something that I've learned today, and when I heard it, I always go research, so I make sure that I'm speaking correctly on the topic, because I'm not trying to be out here falsely educating my people. So what I learned today was that before colonization, homophobia wasn't even a thing in Africa. They didn't discriminate against it, none of that. It wasn't until colonization where the colonizers were telling them that what they practiced was demonic. What they were doing wasn't right. It was barbaric. It was animalistic. And thus introducing this white man, this Christian person who is based off of African reality, which didn't exist until 2,000 years ago. So you're telling these people who've been practicing their spirituality for millions of years that what they're doing is wrong. And then you introduce this to them. And this is where homophobia came into play. It became so hated in Africa due to colonization and how much colonizers impacted that. And during slavery, it was instilled in us that once they did this, our manhood was gone. It was stripped. So now we confused on what this is and what this is. But now is a new time. It's a new day and age. We cannot sit here and be against our own people, regardless of who they love or who they don't love. I'm I'm a straight woman. I'm a straight woman. Okay, it's no different from a person who's not straight. You love who you love. That's it. That's that. And what you have to accept is this is a new day and age. There's many children out here who need to be adopted, who need to be guided, and regardless of if they're the same
Can I
sex or if they are
can I
straight,
interject? Can I
Mhm.
interject real quick? Um, and I understand what you mean by saying it's a new day and age. Um, I think the I think the better way to put it would probably be at one point the LGBTQIA plus community might have been okay with sitting by the sidelines or hiding themselves, but now we are unapologetically who we are. They're being
Right.
their true selves.
Exactly.
I think
Just like black people are being unapologetically themselves. You have to it's shit you need to talk. Black people need to be protected regardless of anything. Regardless. This is who they love. I love my people. They love me. They're still people. And I'm still fight for my people. Trans women dying at these high ass rates. Like,
Yeah. Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. All of them.
That part, 110%.
We got to work on us before we can work on other folks. We ain't got no time to be helping out Sally and Susie because they feelings got hurt because we said they couldn't say the N-word.
Or Tyler or Kyle, who felt Black men owe them explanation to how we conduct ourselves in protecting Black women.
Period.
So,
can we be honest? Actually, Perry, you were going to say something, so you go ahead, and then I'm a circle back to that.
I was gonna say, I think it's harmful to peddle this thought that, oh, it's this fight for rights for any community, for Black community, for the LGBTQ plus community is new. I don't think that it's new. I think what's new is social media. I think that social media has become such a powerful tool for people to be able to share ideas and find their communities online, to where it's like, okay, now it's not new, it's just being recorded. Like that's like that's been a popular thing with the Black Lives Matter protests. It's like this stuff isn't new, it's just being recorded, it's being filmed, it's being televised, so to speak. It's in your face. So I feel like the fight for um the fight for LGBTQ plus rights is not new. It's just that I feel like this new generation is, I correct me if I'm wrong, like the first or second generation that's grown up on social media, grown up meeting people who were, not straight, or not, or even not even conforming to the gender binary. They met these people online, and they've heard their stories. And like, I feel like once one person hears somebody's story, then it's like, okay, now you can take that, and you can share it to help challenge and change minds. So I feel like, and like for me, like as a cis het Black man, a lot of the internalized, bigotry that I hold, I constantly have to turn myself on, because I know what it feels like to be shunned by any community, by the Black community, by, like I know that feeling of not feeling like you're heard or accepted. So it's like, why would I want to do that to somebody else? And so I invite people to check me, because it's hard for us to believe that we can do wrong. And it's like, it's hard for us as people. I feel like, especially Black people, we touched on this earlier, to have accountability. So the way to counteract that is to surround yourself with people who are going to hold you accountable. People that are going to sit down and tell you, like, yo, you was wrong for this, and this is why. And like, they're going to force you to do that. And so I pride myself on having friends and family that are around me that are going to be like, yo, you was wrong for this, and this is why. And having that really has helped me to like to be a better accomplice to all people, to be a better socialist for all people, because I kind of see myself as, I don't mind having these difficult conversations, because I know my facts, and I'm able to articulate my point a lot better than somebody else might be able to. So I don't mind speaking, or I don't want to say, let me correct myself. I don't mind amplifying voices, advocating for other people, because it's just like, it's easy to me to talk. But go ahead, Jessica, you about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to I was going to comment on what Javon said about Black men protecting Black women. Let's talk about misogynoir and misogyny. From what I have seen in my own life and on TikTok, because I don't go nowhere, so that's basically, my whole world. Black men do not protect Black women as a whole. Black women are not protected by Black men. Hell, let's be real. Sometimes we're not even protected by other Black women. So I would like the ladies to kind of give their opinion on The misogyny and the misogynoir in the Black community, and what their experiences with it, if they're comfortable with sharing, and do y'all think Black men protect Black women? Who wants to go first?
I mean, I guess I can, hop in on this real quick. Uh, I, I, I feel as though I have to protect myself always around the clock. There has not, there are very few men in my life that have looked out for me, have been concerned about my well being in general, my mental health, my physical health, my any health. So it's like that strong Black woman narrative is kind of just forced on you because people are like, oh, well, uh, you're strong. You did this by yourself, so you can do everything else by yourself. Like, it's like if somebody sees me struggling at the grocery store, I'm trying to get to the top shelf because the item I need is pushed far back on the top shelf. They don't they don't ask me, "Do you need help?" They will literally watch me as if it's some type of skit like the Three Stooges, as if it's some form of like entertainment. And then when I get it, they're like, "Oh, I'm happy that you got it." And it's like, "But you were here, you're taller than me, and you could have helped me. But you wanted to wait until after I hurt my elbow and almost fell off the shelf and finally got the item to give me a pat on the back." So yeah, I don't feel protected. It feels more like if I can do it, you can.
It's it's a hit or miss. There have been times, more times, that I have been protected by Black men than I have not been protected by Black men. My grandfather, my father have all shown me, the men in my family have all shown me what it's like to be protected. A lot of my male friends have shown me what it's like, to be protected. So I know that, like, when I enter into like certain relationships, I look for that protection. You automatically think about that safety net you get with Black men. And that minute that they show you they are not about that, it's like, dang, it's a slap in the face. So you have some instances where you have nothing but men like Javon who protect Black men. And there have been instances where I've had to curse out a lot of Black men for disrespecting Black women. And I honestly feel like Black women are on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to anything, because not only do we fight for you in the street, we have to fight with you in the house. And just like you want me to be your piece, I need you to be my piece as well. We have to be each other's piece. So it's really a 50-50. I have numerous of times where I wasn't protected by Black men, but I speak on the positives, like me being in an abusive relationship, and my dad like, no, we not doing that with my daughter, ready to blow your head off. Or friends, when my son's father is treating my son negatively, and they're like, oh, so I need to go run up on this person, and we need to have this conversation, or I need to show him these hands because I don't want to take care of his responsibilities, or like anything to that matter. I can't really, there's a lot that I can speak on, but we are literally the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah,
Can we shout out Casper,
Oh,
because he's been dropping a lot of gems this live. I love it.
Yes,
I
yes,
love
he
that.
has, and he actually has. He's our
thanks,
eye in the
Casper.
sky tonight. Um, so everybody give Casper their flowers down in the comments. I said what I said, little brother. He actually wanted
You mad,
to.
rude, and disrespectful, but it's okay.
I love you too. Anyhow, he had something that he wanted to. He had something he wanted to say regarding the transphobia in the Black community. Go ahead, Casper.
Oh, you mean now? Like, man, I'm
Mhm.
over here eating snacks. Okay, hold on.
Stop
Let me.
chewing.
My bad. My bad. So one of the issues, and I think Lauren was touching on it earlier when we were talking about how American Christianity has demonized the LGBTQIA plus community. I go to school for theology, and one of the ways in which that typically white ministers and colonizers have used scripture is they describe interaction between, same-sex attraction or anybody that deals with any type of gender identity crisis or anything like that. They've equated it to bestiality. And what you do with that is if you equate somebody's sexuality to bestiality, then it's easier to dehumanize them. It's the same tactic that they use for anybody outside of, you know what I'm saying, if you're outside of white genes, if they can make us to be less than human, and I mean the Constitution says that we are less than human, then it gives them every right to dehumanize us, brutalize us, demonize us, and that's very big in the church. That's why, for instance, in I think it's the 19th century. I'm trying to remember off, so please don't quote me on this. But why they twist up scripture and everything like that to make it seem like homosexuality is, if not the worst sin, even though it's not. Sorry to break anybody's feelings, but and they try to make it seem like it in itself is one of the most damaging things to human interactions. It's the reason why they try to weaponize what happened in Sodom. They said, oh, it's because there's homosexuals out there. No, it's because there was rape happening out there. It had nothing to do with homosexuality. That's another thing where they say they just assume. That's why when you hear like straight black men, when they hear there's a gay guy around, they're like, oh, well, if he tries to try something on me, as if you need to be a homosexual to not consider consent. You know what I'm saying? So it's that way of thinking. It started in the church as a tactic, as colonization, and it has bled into our communities because of the heavy influence we have by the church, because the church in itself was a sanctuary during the civil rights movement where even Muslim people would go and hide out in the church. Unfortunately, they did not leave the homophobia at the altar when they came to the church for sanctuary. Anyway, that's all y'all get for church. It's Monday. I got a podcast tomorrow. I just wanted to drop that in real quick. Y'all have a good night now. I'm going back in my cave and I'm going back to eat my cookies. Thank you.
Thank you, Casper. Um,
Can I jump
does
in real quick,
anybody? Yep,
Jessica,
go
before you
ahead.
make your point?
Go ahead.
So yes, I do agree. Not enough black men protect black women. Absolutely, and it breaks my heart that I have to continue to hear the same narrative. You know how black men make women. I've heard it all from black men. Black women are bald-headed. They're too masculine. Like I've seen. Some of my black friends that I went to school with. We're not friends anymore. Because once you graduate high school, you disperse from people that you was forced to be around for 4 years every single day, with the exception of weekends. Making fun of black women that black girls that we went to school with. So getting older, being coming from a black woman, my mission has always been one of my missions has always been to protect black women. My mother has always shown me love and affection and has always been there for me no matter what. When family members in my family were never there, when family members that I thought I could count on wasn't there, the one common denominator was always my mother all the time. She was always in my corner. Always, my biggest cheerleader was my mother. So from being in past relationships to having friends who are black women, I pride myself no matter what. of what I do is to protect the black woman. So when we had that situation that happened on fan base, I got it, I rarely get mad, and it takes a lot to get me upset. I'm a chill dude. I don't like to set off myself because white people on TikTok, they're belligerent, they're very ignorant, very racist, whatever. But what really like I this is one of my first times like being around newer people, and I get set off easily just over the comments that they were making towards yourself and Layla and Koya. Like it really pissed me off. That's why I removed them from out of the group because how are you this big in your age, in your big ass age, trolling people, particularly black women?
Can I say
At a
something, bro,
certain
about that
age,
fan
you
base
gotta check
situation?
yourself.
Let me say
Absolutely,
something real quick about that fan
absolutely.
base situation. So for the viewers at
Yes.
home, y'all don't know. So um I was on fan base with some of the people that are here on the panel and with some other TikTokers. We were checking out the app and we were in an audio room. And this dude came up and somebody said, this is my squad, like this is my TikTok squad. And he said, what do you have to do to get into your squad? Get gang raped or something? And it just, I mean, nobody was dealing with that shit up in here. But I want to point out something, Javon. Do you notice that he had no problem talking to me, kikiing it with me, and everything like that? We were cool, he was kind of flirting and shit like that. But the minute that I said that he was being problematic, I was milk powder. I wasn't black anymore. I'm this, I'm
Yeah.
that. And that is the experience
Disrespecting
that I
Jessica
have
and her
seen.
blackness. Absolutely.
And that
Yes.
is the experience that I have seen is I'm black until I say something that you don't like. Then I'm a whole white girl. And I'm like,
Trying to negate your blackness.
exactly. Like I may be a white girl, but you being a whole ass bitch. I said what I said.
Not a half, not a quarter, not
Can I
one
say
eighth.
something?
Whole ass bitch.
You a
Go ahead,
$3
Koya.
you a $3 a
Um,
gallon type one. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me go back in my cave.
Look.
it's I found that because I used to try to date a lot, right? And I found that every black guy that I would talk to or that would try to connect with me, and if I was not interested in him, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, you're an ugly frog, you're bald head, you're despicable, you're trash. Like it goes straight to just dissing me completely and demeaning me and objectifying me. And I'm just like,
Suddenly you
what
become
was
less
even the
than human.
reason?
Right, and
Suddenly you
don't let
become
you
less
be
than
in an
human.
actual relationship and tell them that you in a relationship. Like you all types of B words, all types of hoes, you everything but the name your mama gave you at birth. I'm in a relationship. I'm not rejecting you. If I wasn't interested, I would have simply said I'm not interested and would have still gotten those same insults. But I am respecting my relationship. Am I in a relationship now? No. But then, yes. Yes, I am. And if I'm telling you I'm in a relationship, I'm trying to let you down nicely if I'm not in a relationship. It
And
has
it's
nothing to do with interest. Just respect that. Okay, it's rejection. Now I'll go find the next one. There's plenty of us out here.
just move on. You don't have to try to dehumanize me at all. And it's the fact that it happens to be these same men, and somebody's gonna be hurt in the fucking comments, and I don't care. It's the same men that fetishize my color, fetishize mixed children who think they're gonna get with a bitch like me, and I'm the best of both worlds. This is an exact quote, y'all. Best of both worlds because I look like a black girl, but they think I'm going to be submissive like a white girl. I think the fuck not. I will make you go home crying to your motherfucking mama. Okay. So Casper, stop it with the cookies, man. So, it's the same. And I think it's weird that these black men who like to dehumanize people like me the minute that I say something they don't like, call Sequoia a frog, or dehumanize her entirely, or threaten Lauren. Y'all get with white women because you want your children to look like me, or you get with me because that's how you want your children to look like. How are you going to fetishize your children to look like your sexual partner? I think that's mad fucking weird, but nobody's talking about this. You just want to sit here and invalidate my blackness because you don't like the truth that's coming out of my mouth. And let me tell you something. If you worried about the color of my skin, if you worried about who's in between my fucking legs, while I'm worrying about black liberation and black fucking excellence, you ain't on my level. You ain't on my level. You ain't worth my time. I'ma just say that. So, Miles, Perry, what do y'all think?
I think it's just sad that when black women reject black men for whatever reason, or like Lauren said, she was in a relationship, or even if she wasn't in a relationship, it's sad that y'all have to say that in order to try and not to get dehumanized because you rejected a person, and sometimes it's still not enough. Like, does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense.
It makes total sense. It makes total sense.
Okay.
Because we're not considered enough. Us single mothers will be considered masculine just because we're holding everything down. But nobody's asking, where the fuck are you? Where the fuck is the father? Nobody's asking that. They just want to look at us and tell us we're too masculine. But you know what? Ever since the days of slavery, black women have been having to hold it the fuck down because our black men would get sold off, murdered, or something like that, and they weren't in the home, or they were working the fields or some shit. We would get separated, and black women had to do it all from the beginning. So I want to hear that if a black woman is doing what the fuck she's supposed to do, she raising her kids, she getting that degree, she going to that job, hell, even if she going to the motherfucking club, I do not want to hear that she's masculine, because black women have been doing everything, including fighting for black men. Even though we got to worry about, let's look at the domestic violence rates. We got to worry about getting killed by y'all and the police. But we still holding it the fuck down. Go ahead.
It throws me like for a loop that the black woman is set to such a high beauty standard, but don't nobody respect her ass. We got to look bomb as fuck for y'all. But as soon as we say, I'm not interested, you ugly as fuck, your clothes is generic, I can do so much better than you.
Hallelujah.
Your hair is nappy, you bald
You
head.
can do better than the black woman.
You really can't top us.
You can't even wipe your ass.
They want to be us so bad. If this
Exactly. Can't wash right.
If we is
Exactly.
ugly, if we are ghetto, if we are
Hold
ratchet,
on.
if we
Let's
are
look at the comment. I want people to normalize that we don't always desire to be strong. We are tired. Yes, Yolanda. Yes. Yes.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
I'm telling you.
Are motherfucking tired. And
do you even notice
for your protection? Then just do it. Just shut up and listen. That's all you gotta do.
Do you even notice? As like, I'm gonna talk to you, Lauren, as a single mother. Do you even know, as being a black single mother, don't nobody check on you and ask you if you're okay?
No.
And you're strong because you have to be. So don't nobody care if you're strong, but they always want you to be there for them.
And I moved to New Orleans, and I do have friends and family in New Orleans. But when I need a break, sometimes I can't find them. And I've been with my children every single day since I've moved here. And I've been here since October. I have not gotten a break. And I could call and tell my mom, like, I'm just a little tired, so on and so forth. Well, that's what you signed up for. You don't get no break. Your life is done, so on and so forth. But did you remember that you had grandma who was willing to take me? Y'all had a break for me for weeks because I wanted to be at grandma's house. Yeah, all I asked was if I could get an hour or two. It's not something major. I'm not complaining. I know what I created and I know what my responsibilities are. But sometimes, just like my kids need a break from me, I need a break from my kids in my household as well. Is it hard? Is it wrong for me to just ask for an hour or two, maybe a full day? Like it's nothing wrong with getting a break and having to do everything, be the man or as try to be. And I'm raising a black son. All I can tell him is what I believe a black man is supposed to be like. I cannot teach him how to be a man. But here I am. I'm still on his butt. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm trying to make sure everything is focused, all while I'm burning myself out. And I some days don't even know how the fuck I'm making it. I'm making it by the grace of my ancestors. And sometimes I catch myself and I'm lashing out and I'm trying not to, I'm doing more conscious parenting. I don't need to take my emotions out on you. Let's just go outside so y'all can run around a little bit and I don't have to really pay too much attention because y'all gonna be in my close range. Let's go ahead. This is how we get a break from each other. This is what we can do. But it gets so frustrating when they like, okay, no, this is what you did. This is what you signed up for. There's no reason to ask if you're okay. Because again, this is your responsibility. No, it's one person that always calls me and asks me how I'm doing. Because her husband went on deployment and she had it rough for a little bit. But she constantly calls. And you need friends like that. You need people in your life like that because they actually think that somebody's matter, that you matter and you're not here by yourself. Because sometimes you be feeling alone, like who do I really got? I don't got nobody.
Yes, exactly. And that part, Yolanda, what happened? It's like you read my mind. I swear I'm gonna have you on podcast one day, Yolanda. What happened to it takes a village? We have lost sight of that mentality so bad that we'll walk right past a homeless person on the street. We will sit there and make fun of the single mother that is starving. We will ignore the child who clearly needs new clothes or needs his hair done. We will ignore those things because now we just sipping tea and minding our own black business, which is great. That's fine. But what about our own?
Well,
we're not worried about our own. We're too busy otherizing and policing and gatekeeping that we're not giving a damn about each other anymore. So
we too busy trying to be colonizers
and defeat white supremacy when we don't give a shit about the person next door. How? Perry, you didn't get a chance yet. Did you have something to say?
Oh, I'm just listening because the conversation is about black.
I'm about to go pull that chicken out the fridge. Shoot.
Look, I be going off about this.
No, you're good. It's just listening to it, it hurts because it's just like, I was raised by my black single mom for most of my life. And so it's like I saw her struggle. I saw a lot of this stuff. And what's interesting to me is, like it was me and my mom for the longest time. And I remember there's just this one story I was able to tell that kind of like shaped. It's a core memory if anybody gets that reference from Inside Out. Anyway, I used to, so I think it was every Friday she would like go to the bank and give me like a gold dollar, and then there was like a little like jar like in her car, and she would collect it. And then one Friday, like the jar was empty, and then she was like, "Hey, just so you know, like there's not gonna be a gold coin today because I took your jar and I took it to take somebody who needed some food out to eat. Now that I'm older, like I recognized there was a person who happened to be homeless and like they didn't like they have anything. And she was like, so she had it and she gave it to them and she took them to go get some eat. That's the type of woman that she was. And so like watching that, I think I was like elementary, probably like fifth grade, and like for me, I was like, oh, okay, like that was like normal for us. And so like when I got older and now into the world, it was it was always like for me, I was always around women as like friends because like that's because like that's what I was comfortable with. That's what I grew up around. So I was always surrounding myself with, you know, strong women, so to speak. But then, as I got older, I started to realize that, being the strong person just in general, it takes a toll on you because a lot of people saw me as a strong person because I was the person that everybody could come to. I was the shoulder for everybody to cry on. I was the ear for everybody to listen to, and so everybody would just come to me, and I wanted that because the way I looked at it, especially like growing up, like going through the school system, is like when I was in elementary school, middle school, my mom was in and out of the hospital. But the thing about me is like I didn't want anybody to know about it at school. So the only people that knew about it at school was my counselor and like some of my teachers because there were times where like parent teacher conferences where like she couldn't physically come in and they would have to be my grandma. But besides that, like nobody knew this was happening until it got bad to like where like something happened to where I needed to be taken out of school for 2 weeks. And then that's when everybody knew and they're like, I had no idea this was going on. Like, how did you maintain straight A's throughout this whole time? And it's just like I don't want people looking at me differently. So then once that happened, like and then even still like at home, like I was always the strong person in my family because I was the one that was taking care of mom, and then I was the one that was communicating to everybody because the whole family wasn't around. So it was like I get and I understand what it's like to be the strong person all the time. So I do my best to be a good. I, I don't even want to say friend, but I want to say like brother, son, whatever, like family member to especially black women because like I get it like on top of being black, you guys are also black women are also women or black female presenting people are they have to live within the patriarchy, and it's just like just as scared as scared or as cautious, I should say, as black men have to be around racist people and like racist cops, black women have to have that same caution for them and also for doctors and also for black men. And so it's like if I can even like be like help or be the ear for one black woman in my life, then it's like okay, I'm doing the best that I can to try to alleviate some of that stress. And so that's kind of like how I live and like that's what I try to like embody.
Yeah, definitely.
Let
And
me
I
remind
think,
my brother.
oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah. Go ahead, Jessica. Okay, okay. If you
Oh,
mind, my brother, I'm gonna just tag in and
I was just gonna, I was just gonna move it on. But if you have something you wanted to say, go ahead.
yeah. So I agree with what everybody is saying. And there's been times where black men have stepped to me for protecting black women. Like if I black woman being in danger or she's in distress, yeah, might I'm gonna step in. Step to me, another man. Like why you gotta step up for? Hmm? Question now: why black men be so quick to want to step to a woman? Why don't you step to another black man? Pop out your chest to me. I really want all this. Please do, and I will gladly match energies with you. I have no business doing that, right? Because black women for too long have they have thrown themselves in front of us to protect us from almost just about everything. And the fact that a lot of black men would puff out their chest and get aggressive with black women, step to another black man. Don't do that. That is not only is it harmful, it doesn't look good for you. You make other black men look bad, but worse, you don't care about her when you do things like that in public and in private. I hate things like that. I hate that. I hate it. It bothers me so much. I hate it. And we are representing a newer generation, like a generation that comes after us. So when your kids are looking at you, the way you talk to your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance, however, whatever relationship she is to you have to understand that you are a role model in a sense because you are passing on a particular thought process and mindset to them. So when you have young boys in the house, when you have young daughters around all of that violence, negativity, they grow up thinking that that's normal. It's not normal. In fact, it is detrimental to black people. So I just feel like for me, my one of my goals was to always protect black women. So I love you, black woman. I appreciate you. I thank you guys so much for all that you have done. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to do if it wasn't for black women. Honestly, my mother has just been that blueprint for me. And you guys have always shown how strong you are through all adversity. So I thank you guys so much, and I love you all. I appreciate you. If no one told you that today, I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you for real. I do from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
We appreciate you, Javon. Um, so I think because we are talking about the disrespect that Black women face, I think now would be a good time to discuss what do y'all consider pro Black? Because there is a big, we'll say, argument about whether or not you can be pro Black and date outside your race. For me personally, like I said earlier, if you're worried about who's in my bed or who's in between my legs while I'm worrying about fighting for the cause, you aren't on my level. You don't mean shit to me. Um, as long as I am not with someone that perpetuates racism and teaches that to my children or tries to force that on me, um, shouldn't matter at all. Could be a white guy, could be a black guy, could be a Hispanic guy, could be an Asian guy. It doesn't matter. Who I fuck is my business. Nobody else's. Um, and I hear a lot of people say that if you're mixed, you can't be pro-black because you're not actually black. Tell that to all the white people that I've met. But okay.
Okay.
I digress. What y'all think?
In America, when it comes to, I'm going to speak on that first. When it comes to mixed race children, in America, those mixed race children are considered black, regardless of them being biracial. This in black, such and such in black, you are still black in America. They don't care. If you look it, that's what you are. And when I feel like me, I can't speak on what it is like to be a mixed race person, but I can only imagine that if I went through hating myself because of society deeming me ugly, what did a mixed race person go through dealing with two sides of the spectrum? Now, I thought they were always fantasized about. That's what they wanted. I thought that's what the beauty was. But come to find out, they're battling a lot of their demons as well. You have some family that's racist ass family. And then you have some black people who fetishize you and aren't really educating you. They just telling you how beautiful you are, or they're not there. You have different sides of the spectrum when it comes to being mixed race. So I can't say that being mixed race is not pro-black because you're still black. Now, as far as dating outside of your race, um, I do not believe that. I believe that if you are a black person dating an indigenous person, you are still pro-black because indigenous people, native people are the closest thing we have to African religion, African spirituality, etc. Um, and they know that together it'll be a major force. Like they're literally trying to wipe them off the face of the earth. And as many of us that are speaking, we ain't trying to let that happen. Now, as far as dating other races, I do not believe you can date outside of that and be pro-black. Because to me, being pro-black is building that equity within your people. Now, to whom you fall in love with is to whom you fall in love with. I'm not going to love you any less. I just don't believe that you dating a a black person dating a white person or an Asian person is bringing that same equity into the community, especially when these are the people who have demonized us so much. That
Hold on. So as far as Asian Americans are concerned, historically they have also had similar struggles to us.
they have.
White people have placed them into the model minority. However, they're still a minority. So I guess my question is no, and a lot of Hispanic people have indigenous blood and black blood. Say Dominicans, because they were colonized too. So how can we say that? How can we pick one POC community and not the others? I guess is my question, and I think that ignores the intersectionality, and that ignores like the struggles of people in the LGBTQIA plus community that are in the black community, because we were just talking about the homophobia and transphobia in our community. So I think,
so when it comes to the diaspora, anybody who is black is within the black community. Afro Latina, Afro Hispanic, Afro Indigenous, Afro whatever, the black community is what I'm speaking about. So yes, there was African slavery happened all around the world, and there were Moors or indigenous people all around the world to their countries. So you're still building in your black community within that country your wealth. So I'm not speaking on those of the diaspora. And when it comes to Asian Americans, um, during the time period, they did end up going to the Supreme Court to deem themselves just as white as a white person. And a lot of things that have happened within the Korean, I'm sorry, y'all, within the Asian community and the black community. Yes, we have you come together on many of things and have backed them up, especially during the Stop Asian Hate and all of that. I guess what I'm trying to say is they have also been racist against us as well. They have also, the 15-year-old who was literally murdered by an Asian woman from her store, and all she was doing was trying to buy an orange juice. The fact that they set up in our communities to make money off of us because they know they can profit off of us, but to disrespect us and call us out our names, put their hands on us when we enter their establishments to give them money to support their businesses. So they're building wealth off of us, but how are we building wealth within each other? Especially if we're dating outside of that. If you are pro-black, that means you want the best education for your people. You want the money to come in for your people. And you got to remember, we also used to have our own communities. We used to have our own businesses. And the reason why they bombed each of those communities is because they were thriving a lot more and a lot quicker than what they thought was going to happen. They thought we was going to amount to nothing, and we were becoming a little bit too wealthy for their taste. And we could do that shit again as long as we stay within ourselves and we're buying within ourselves.
But do you realize that white people also tore down and burnt down Asian communities during that time period? Or the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, or the fact that they had to be in internment camps. I mean, they've had a lot of struggles as a people too. So it's not like, I wouldn't say that they wouldn't understand the struggle that we go through. I mean, honestly, unless you're Black, you're not going to understand it 100%. But I mean, to be honest, we saw the kind of hate that they received when
After
the pandemic
Trump, during
started.
Corona, during COVID, at the beginning of the peak, and we're not saying that they don't face just as much hate, but look at how long and how many years Black people have endured
Yeah, but what I'm
violence,
saying
hate,
is
and
what
all
I'm
of that.
saying is they also have, like, for instance, we have the Mandingo stereotype, right? They have the yellow fever stereotype. Like, people literally look at them and they see a virus, and that did not just start with COVID. That's been happening for years. So I guess for me, if you're gonna say that I can still be pro-Black and be with one race, can't really exclude any of the others, because all of them have had their struggles.
But
You know
they
what I'm
also
saying?
have their
And you
wealth
can be
within
Black
their
and not even,
community.
you can be Black and not even be for the betterment of Black people. So
It's freezing up.
saying these people can't that we can't be pro-Black if we're with these people because they have their shops in our neighborhoods and stuff like that. Okay, but that might not be the person that I'm sleeping with. So how can you say that I'm not pro-Black?
So
Miles had something to say.
in
Hold
these
on, Miles had something to
communities.
say.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miles.
Yeah, so I personally don't think that you can't be pro-Black and date outside of your race or date other minorities. However, when I see a Latin person or an Asian person or an Indian person even on Tinder, I assume that they have internalized anti-Blackness. And I say that because if you were to make like a racial hierarchy, Black people are at the bottom. And Asian people, Latin people are feeding into anti-Blackness. And it's a distribution of power because they're not white people, but they're right there. And then Latin people are right here. So I wouldn't say that you can't be pro-Black and date them, but if I see a Black and Asian couple, more than likely that Black person there's a higher chance that they're not pro-Black because every other minority has a tendency, like as a whole, to be anti-Black. Does that make sense at all?
It makes sense, but we're also ignoring the intersectionality. We're ignoring the fact that, like, say, Black trans women are not accepted in our community. So where the fuck else are they supposed to find love? And that doesn't necessarily mean that they have internalized anti-Blackness. It just means they found someone that they were safe with. You know what I mean? Now, understand, if I am with we'll throw out Asian because that's been the argument. If I'm with an Asian man that talks about Black on Black crime, okay, I really can't be pro-Black, can I? I can't, you know? And I defend him and all this other stupid shit. I really can't say that I'm pro-Black. However, if I am with an Asian man that is sitting there and going to the protests with me, that is sitting there and letting me be secure in my blackness, letting me teach my children Black culture and everything, I can be pro-Black. Him being Asian has nothing to do with it. And some people don't want children. So we can't say that it's for, that it's, we can't argue blood quantum here. I ain't finna do that. Black people are Black people.
It's not about the blood quantum. And again, like, I'm not knocking anything that you're saying. Now, I'm speaking on like a wealth aspect. Asian communities do have generational wealth. Do they not? Even from them internment camps, they got paid reparations in order to stay in a healthier wage gap, or in continue to keep wealth in their communities, and their family's going to continue to get paid. In a lot of communities, they have their wealth, but where do Black people have their wealth at? How can we generate equity within our communities and then not build and create more Black children in order to allow this thing to continue to grow? Like, right, that's I'm talking about.
How can we blame Asian people for having generational wealth when it's white people who are not allowing us to have generational wealth?
Because, like, they
can't blame them for what white people are doing. What are they supposed to do?
They know where the dollars are coming from. They know exactly how they're going to get their money, so they're still trying to profit off of Black people. It's still they're still gaining that profit off of us because they need our dollars.
Buying the shit though.
I'm not buying the shit. I buy Black.
I'm saying though, it's Black people that are buying this. If they're getting Black money because Black people are going out and buying it instead of buying from their own. So again, how can we blame Asian people? How?
My thing has always, and I never place blame, I'm stating they have wealth in their communities. They build wealth within their communities. I'm stating that in order to build equity within our communities, we need to do exactly what they do and marry our own, give into our own, and continue to build wealth in our own. And then once we get comfortable, we can date whoever the hell we want to date. But you cannot be pro-Black and not want to build equity, the same kind of equity within your community, and they outside of that. They can't help you, and then they cannot teach you what it is to be Black.
But what I'm saying is you can't do that. You can sit there and be with an Asian man and buy Black. That's not, I mean, the two are not mutually exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
How are you building wealth within your family of the Black community? How are we building for our Black families generational wealth?
But who that's not a Black has family. Nothing to do with who I'm sleeping with has nothing to do with, I guess we see it differently as far as relationships and shit like that, because I see it as my money goes to my kids is Black, period. I don't really see it as if I marry this person, their generational wealth is going to go to their family instead of mine, because the money I make is going to go to my kids who are Black. So I guess there's a disconnect there. Like, I don't think we're really understanding each other because our understanding, our definition of relationships might be different. Miles?
Yeah, I also want to add that there's been like research on why there are some pro-Black people who date outside of their race. And it's because, like, I'll use Childish Gambino or Donald Glover, for example, because he's obviously pro-Black, but he has, I think, a white wife. And it's because it's easier to address other aspects like transphobia or ableism or whatever with a non-Black person who is seeking to be anti-racist than it is for a Black man to address their transphobia or their internalized anti-Blackness. Like, for example, my mother has a white husband, and my stepfather was able to use my pronouns correctly far before my Black father was. And it's because he's aware of the fact that he is a white man of privilege and he has work to do. But it's harder for straight black men to understand that because they feel like, well, I don't want to hear about trans people until black people get their justice. Because that's what my father said. And we were in conversation and he said, well, what about black people? And I'm like, Dad, there are black trans people. So that's sometimes it's fetishization, obviously. But sometimes if there's a pro black person and they're dating outside of their race, it's probably because it's easier for them to have other conversations about intersectionality, about black trans women, about black trans non-binary people, because they're already aware that they have XYZ privilege.
And I guess that's where I'm coming from. And my friend Key pointed out a good point. Problem is we don't own black culture. If we made money off of the things we created, we would be fine. And Lauren, I just want to ask, is that kind of what you're saying as far as your view on the pro-black stance?
That is part of it. We have been the prophet of everybody. You have to remember that Black American culture is celebrated around the world. And this is what sells. Being Black American is what sells. So again, every Black person in the diaspora has their struggles, but being Black American is exactly what it is. And now that we have started to gatekeep, you see how pissed off they get, because now we no longer want to be your prophet. We want to profit within ourselves once again. And since you can no longer make a profit off of everything that we are doing, off of the things that we have created, it is now a problem, and we spew hate. And now we are hateful and we are racist. When we set our boundaries, we are looked at differently. And in order to build wealth within our communities, we got to stick together. That's our culture that we created for ourselves, because the ones our ancestors knew, they were stolen from it and they weren't allowed to practice it. But now everybody wants to be what we are, and this is ours. So why not build that wealth within your own community, within your own people?
I get that. I think I'm just looking at it more so from an intersectionality aspect because I am bisexual, and sometimes that's a problem. Um, so for me, it's who I connect with, and that connection includes um, I'm black. Fucking deal with it, I guess. I saw Javon. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I get where both you, Jessica, and Lauren is coming from. I know for me, I've always been with black women. I've never dated outside of my race. Um, so I never can. I like honestly speaking from my experience, I can't see myself with anyone else, like an Asian woman or a white woman. And like also too, like I feel like being with a white woman, they really wouldn't understand a lot of the struggles and trauma that I've had to go through personally as a black man. Like I could explain it to them, I could sit down, talk about it with them, but they wouldn't really get it, if that makes sense. They would get it, but they wouldn't really get it. I think a black woman would understand me way more and connect with me way more. I've never really had any bad experiences when it comes to being with black women. Some black men have had their own stories. Some black women have had their own stories on black men. Some black women date outside of their race simply because they feel like black men do not appreciate them. Some black men feel like they can't find a black woman who's good enough, and I feel like some black men that say that there was actually a narrative going around on TikTok, like black nerds, like how black women don't love black nerds, and I'm a black nerd. Never had an issue. That's never been an issue with me, personally speaking. I don't know about the other black men.
Look, I'm a black
That's never been
woman
an
and
issue.
I'm a whole nerd. I got a
Exactly. Right.
like I got Baby Yoda and Negan back there.
So I just felt like I think you can be pro-black and date outside your race, but I also agree with Lauren. Like, black equity is so important. And we was talking about this earlier in the conversation about generational wealth. We don't have that at all.
I agree, and I understand that we don't have generational wealth. I guess my thing is we shouldn't blame other minority communities for us not having that because it was white people who didn't give us the boots for us to pull us up by our bootstraps. So, and you know what, my experience is vastly different from everybody else's. No black experience is monolithic, and that also ties into what your belief on pro-blackness is, and whether or not you can date outside your race. Like I said, mine involves a lot of intersectionality. I have CPTSD. Um, as far as the black community is concerned, that's white people shit. So it's hard for me to find someone of my race that I can connect with that understands that. But I will never be with anyone who has anti-blackness, if that makes sense. Sequoia, what's your take on this?
I guess like pro-blackness to me is, really basic response. Never like disowning your blackness, like not giving it up for the sake of someone else. Or to make things work in relationships and whatnot. That's pro-blackness to me.
Right.
Like, I'm
Don't
not going
water
to stop
yourself
being
down
black for
for somebody
nobody.
else.
I'm a simple person. That's my response.
I mean, I'm single too, but I'm still gonna speak on it.
No, I'm a simple person.
I thought you said
I
single.
just
I was like, me too, girl, me too.
I mean, I'm single too, but like I'm a simple person. I talk short. I get straight to the point.
I'm single as fuck,
Ain't it fun though? I
I
love
was
being
celibate
single.
for a year after my daughter was born. It was a way for me to get back to, loving myself, connected with myself, and just traveling with my kids. It was, and how I am now, it's like I don't want to be serious. I'm polyamorous. I dabble in some stuff. So I'm not looking for a relationship to be committed in. And when I start to look for a committed relationship, I was like, my son gonna have to be 12, my daughter gonna be around 4 or 5. That's when I think I'll be mentally ready to start another relationship. Because right now I'm enjoying being single, and I'm I'm gonna be a free spirit. I might not be a free spirit right now because she clinging, but I'm trying to have hoes in different area codes. Do you hear me? But
look, I get that. Okay.
I just can't see myself, like, no matter what I have gone through, I just can't see myself being with anybody who's not a black man. I love, and even a trans black man. I love black men. And I know I'm not, like, I've already made a vow I'm not getting married, but if I do, David Banner is supposed to be my husband. So, like, I really just
Not
can't see
David
myself.
Banner.
Oh, I love me some David Banner.
Look.
I love me some David Banner. Mr. Crooked Letter. Ah.
Look, Does anybody is anybody a Marvel nerd up in here?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson is all mine. Y'all can back off. Okay, I'm gonna say that.
I think I
Valkyrie
messed up my
is
screen.
mine. But yeah, so I think what the general consensus is it pro-black is subjective. It just like being black, it's not a monolith. So I think
I want to add one thing to the conversation real quick.
oh, go ahead.
I think so. When this happened, so back when this happened, this conversation happened from the other panel that I think Ebony had. I was like, I was listening to like a lot of perspectives. I kind of left with the idea that the dialogue in itself of can be pro-black and dead outside your race. I feel like that us even taking time to talk about this is detracting from the bigger picture of trying to fight for our liberation. Like, like because a lot of us
say that again. Say it again.
So us even taking the time to have this conversation of can be pro-black and dead outside your race is taking time, effort, and energy away from us all fighting for Black liberation. Like I hear what Lauren was saying about building generational wealth. I've heard the perspectives. I feel like this, and I'm gonna stand on this. I feel like, well, for one, labels have never really been my thing, because once you put a label on something, once you try to label me, that comes with preconceived connotations. And that's with anything. That's with my political party. That's with my sexual preference. That's with anything. So the label in itself of pro-blackness, like when you break it down, like if you're not pro-black, are you anti-black? Or it's like, well, I'm not anti-black, so by definition, I must be pro-black. And then, but it's like, well, I'm pro-black, and I just so happen to have, a girlfriend that's not black. So it's like, am I less black for that? And I feel like it goes back to our initial conversation of trying to justify or quantify somebody's blackness based off of their individual choices. I feel like at the end of the day, as long as the person that you're with is down for you, not down for, like, as long as they are down for you and they care about you as a person, they're going to inherently fight for your rights. Like, for example, my girlfriend, she's Mexican and Ecuadorian. She fights for Black Lives Matter. I fight for, immigration issues. And it's just like, I would do it anyway, but it's just like seeing her passion for it and her wanting to, like, do things in her life because she wants to be example for Mexican women who come from immigrant parents. It's like, okay, well, like that's her. Then I want to support her 100% in what she wants to do. Just like she wants, that's just like she supports me 100% in my endeavor to help be a role model for Black nerds and help push them to learn about financial literacy and push them to go and seek mental health. I feel like that as marginalized groups of people, it shouldn't necessarily be like a competition. Like, I don't like I think what obsessed me about this whole, you have to date Black to build equity thing is just that it's kind of like just touched on this earlier. It's not their fault that they receive reparations. It's not their fault that they built this wealth within themselves. I feel as though, like, at the end of the day, we've all been marginalized by white people at some point in time. So, like, as long as the person I'm with is down for me as a person, as an individual, as long as they're safe for me, as long as I feel safe with them, as long as I love them and they love me, then I feel like everything else, that's all that matters. Because we, and this goes back to, I think somebody touched on this earlier, where, like, we can't say that love is love for LGBTQ issues or it's for issues, but then turn around and be like, oh, you're not pro-Black because you're dating a white woman. When it's just like, I get she won't necessarily understand fully, but at the same time, you don't know that white woman. Or, like, for instance, like, that could be a white woman that she's white, but she was adopted by black parents. So she's been around this. So she's been around this issue. Like my thing is like, as long as the person, it's like I keep saying it because I feel like it's really important. As long as they are down for you, then nothing else should really matter. Like as long as because someone that's down for me is going to want to fight for the things that I fight for. They're going to want to support me 100% in whatever I do because they're down for me. And I feel like anybody that tries to invalidate your relationship or invalidate what you say based off of who you sleep with, it's like just said, they're not on the same level as us. And by continuously having this conversation, it's like, okay, like it feels like you're looking for a reason to invalidate somebody else's points. Like it's like, oh well, like how can you speak about this when you're dating white women? It's like who I date does not negate what I'm saying. Like you feel what I'm saying? So like that's kind of like that's kind of where I'm at with this situation. But I just wanted to add that before we.
One second, real quick, and I want to be clear. When I also think that people who do get in interracial relationships, Black people that do get in interracial relationships, I think they have to work harder in this sense. If you are dating a non-Black person, one of the most important things you need to do is set fucking boundaries. That does not give them the right to speak in our spaces. That does not give them the right to speak over our voices. And I think a big problem in the community is that a lot of people see these interracial relationships where those boundaries are not set. And let's keep it 100. It's normally Black men with white women. And these white women think they can tell us Black women how we need to treat our men, what we need to do with our motherfucking hair, how we need to operate in society, because now they got some Black dick, so they think they're Black all of a sudden, and they can speak on it, and that is not the reality. So while I say you can be pro-Black and date outside your race, I also am saying set those motherfucking boundaries, because I'll be the first bitch coming for your girl. Like, I'll pull those braids out of her motherfucking head.
Please rip them out.
It makes me, I think it sickens me to see white women say to a Black woman, well, I did it better than you. Now, hold up now, Karen. No, you didn't.
Nah, bitch, you was just easier than me.
Wait a minute.
Shut up.
Exactly. Wait a minute, Karen.
They be looking like the scarecrow with them damn shits in their head. Like, what in the fuck are you doing? This is not doing?
I was that mixed kid whose hair wasn't taken care of and all this other shit.
Right.
They said the most lethal combination is a Black man and a Black woman. Not a Black man and a Black woman. God. A Black man with a white woman. Because you got intersectionality and then you got race. And they get together and they think they doing some shit.
Like Candy.
Can I ask something?
And her husband. Oh God. Oof.
Okay, so I want to ask something. So there's this TikToker, and he'll get random people from the mall, and he'll be like, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And she'll be like, "Yeah." And so he'll tell her friend, "Okay, call his boyfriend and see if he gonna cheat." Y'all know? Okay, right.
I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so go. I'm gonna have to find it. Go watch it, because it's a lot of white girls on there, and they be having Black ass boyfriends, and a lot of them will cheat, and some of them will be gay, because white women don't know how to gauge whether a Black man is full of shit or if he's gay. So like Jess said, white women are easy, and because they want Black dick so bad, yo nigga is gay. Yo nigga coming over my house after he leave yours. Or he fucking 5 other women on the side and you don't even know because you worried about the Black dick. So when you come back with chlamydia, I don't want to hear nothing.
white women are worried about the black dick and the black culture, while black women are worried about the black man. I'm gonna just say that. And
say it again, just say it again. Say it again.
white women are worried about the black dick and the black culture, while black women are worried about the black man.
100%.
So Tia, my loves, said, what about a white man with a black person or woman? Just wondering. So for me, in my experience, black women, especially if they have children, will not only set those boundaries for those white men, also those white men normally know what the fuck they're getting into. And they will raise their child within the culture. And I feel like, who are we to tell black women that they're not pro-black because they date a white man or whatever, when black men are not protecting black women? And that's just my personal standpoint.
Okay. So
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
I'm sorry. I feel like when it comes to black men dating white women, it's more so to continue or to have an excuse to demonize a black woman. And a lot of white men that I have seen with black women, I'm sorry, have been sugar daddies. And some of them don't be cute,
some
but
of
they
us
be
got to
getting
build that generational wealth somehow.
right.
Sex work is valid work around here.
So, but there was one, like, and I used to work at Harley Davidson. It was a black woman who came and she was like, my husband works here. And when he came out, I was like, oh, he got a sister, because she was rooted in her blackness. Now, I don't negate anybody's blackness because I speak about equity within the black community. And I'm not stating that black people are anti-black because they date outside of their race. What I'm stating is you can still fight for your people. You're still having your voice. I've never personally told anybody that they not black enough to be talking about this topic, and because they're dating this white person, they shouldn't speak on black issues. You're still black and you know exactly what's going on. So unless you study Coonisms 101, I'm not stating that you still can't speak on your blackness. What I'm stating is pro-blackness is building equity within your community. And once you kind of go outside of that, it takes away from pro-blackness because we are the most hated. If I explained it a little better.
So would it be fair to say that if you are black and you date outside your race, you can be for the cause, but you can't be pro-black? Is that what is?
Yes.
Okay. And that makes sense. I've seen other people have that that opinion. I just personally don't agree with it. And that's fine. Like I said, we can agree to disagree. I believe pro-black is subjective because the black experience is not monolithic. We cannot speak for intersectionalities that we don't personally understand.
Right. And something
right,
that we don't,
like me not agreeing with you doesn't make me less pro-black. You
right.
not agreeing with me doesn't make you less black.
Right.
I mean, we just have different opinions,
different
just
views.
like, you know, does mayo go on peas, Key? I got a yeah, I know. I got a friend. She thinks mayo goes on. She eats mayo on her peas,
like the little green balls, like
her
peas.
Food. Yes, yes, I'm calling you out, Key. She needs to decolonize her food. We're gonna talk about it when I go down and visit her at the end of the month. But
mayonnaise on peas. Peas are nasty in itself, but mayonnaise.
I told her straight out. I said, "Look, I said that's some white people shit. Stop it." But yeah. So like I said, I think we all can kind of agree that at the end of the day, we may not agree on everything. So pro-black is essentially subjective. Yes, Tia. Yeah. Let's talk about your tomatoes and ranch and salt. Okay, I was on the Zoom with this person. They went ahead and just poured salt up on their tomatoes. Just squeezed the bottle of ranch out and dipped it all up in there. I'm like,
Wait. Okay.
mm-mm.
Listen.
Tia, no.
Okay. Tomato slice and salt. I get it. Okay. Listen. Y'all can look at me crazy. I will back up my fam, Tia. I got you, Sib. I got you. Listen. It's okay. It sounds nasty, but like when you actually have it, or no, actually no. It's pepper. It's pepper and tomato slices. Bro, that combination, I don't know what it is. Is it? But like, I get it. I understand it. Okay.
No, you
So
gotta
like,
get
I
it.
get that.
So
I
you
do.
gotta get the
I don't care
vegan
what
feta
nobody say.
cheese and the
I
tomatoes and the cucumbers and some fresh basil, right? And you
look.
pour
I get
some
that. I
vinegar on there
do.
and some salt and some pepper. Boom, shabam, bam, it's good.
But my thing is, ranch is salty as hell. And you adding a whole bunch of salt onto your tomato and then dipping it in the ranch, that's when I got a problem with it. And you know what, Black Girl Warrior? I can knock it even if I haven't tried it. I just did. Anyway.
okay, I don't take it as far as dipping it in ranch. I stop at the little salt or pepper on my tomato. Like I stop there. I don't dip it in ranch.
You know what? I can't really mess with ranch at all. You know what? Okay, let's do this for our closeout. What is y'all's favorite weird food?
Peanut butter and pickles. Yep.
You know what, Black Girl Word? You better make your voice match your height. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You ain't tall enough to ride this ride. Shut up. I still love you, Tia. Anyway, favorite weird food. Who wants to go first?
Peanut butter and pickles for me. I love
What is it?
Peanut butter and pickles. You just take a pickle and you dip it in. That's it.
I'm judging you a little bit. But I don't like pickles. Who want to go next?
Sweet.
Sequoia?
Salty and sweetness.
You gotta unmute yourself.
I don't think I have one.
She's sitting here. She getting all sorts of grossed out talking about these foods.
You know, I eat cookie dough. Like I don't even know if that's weird. Like that's as far as I go. I can't do too much more than what I do now.
She's like, my food ain't colonized. I think.
But I don't have combinations. I might have to wait until pregnancy for that extra shit. I don't know. But this is my basicness showing right now.
I can't. Cookie dough delicious though, so I can't argue with you at all. It's not weird, but it's good.
I got a couple. Okay, so the tomato thing, that's one. We got some vinegar chips. That's another one. We got what else we got? Okay, so ramen noodles and ramen noodles with cheese. Like I don't know what it is, but like cheese on ramen noodles, they smack. It smack. Okay. You get me. Okay.
It's so.
Okay, I don't like a lot of.
I take
like,
the water out.
Yeah, I like a lot of water in my ramen.
Me too. I take it out.
My mouth don't feel right.
That's those would be my top three.
And Tia, I'm so judging you about your hot Cheetos and Nutella. I ain't never
Someone
tried
said
that.
hot
You need to
Cheetos
make that a
and
TikTok
Nutella.
trend.
I've got a lot of judgment there. Yes, I do too as well. Nutella ain't even that good.
What?
It's not.
It's delicious.
It's
like
whoa, wait a minute.
The girls got a vendetta against the Nutella
sandwich slaps.
It can sit at the store and rot for all I care.
Nutella and banana sandwich smacks. I will second that. I will second that. Okay, thank you, Reagan. Thank you. See, Reagan gets it.
Reagan's my
The
sister,
only
by the
way
way.
to calm is to keep the water out.
Y'all,
That's
not
what I
my friend texting me saying peanut butter and pickles is amazing.
I told you.
I'm done. I'm
Y'all
done.
crazy.
okay,
There's something wrong.
okay.
Something
I'm gonna
not
try it.
right. That's
I'm
a
gonna try it,
serial
'cause
killer
me and
food.
Javon
I'm
are,
telling
like-
you.
Shout out to the friend because she knows. She already know. She already know.
Serial
You know?
killers eat peanut butter and pickles.
Look,
never
I'm
heard of
fucking
this.
sick of it. Like the TikTok song. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of y'all. Okay. I didn't think we hear. Did Miles? Did you say yours?
I don't really eat weird foods, so the weirdest thing I do is like sugar and spaghetti. What?
You gotta cut the acidity of the sauce.
You didn't just get judged by the dog, did you?
He been judging me all day. Damn.
Judged.
Okay, but sugar and spaghetti smacks. I don't care what nobody says.
That does not go. That does
No,
not
only
go.
a little bit in the sauce to cut that acidity.
Actually,
No,
sugar
you
and
need to add
spaghetti is
sugar to the
not
sauce.
bad, but
It's
don't
not.
No,
go in there
because
like
my
it's-
granny used to
like
put
it's a
grandmother
peanut
used to
butter
like that.
sandwich or
Okay,
something.
as long as you don't drown in
Yeah.
spaghetti.
Yo.
My grandmother used to. Well, I'm a diabetic.
Yes.
Like a
Mine
dash,
too.
Why do
like
I
a
want
dash of
diabetes in
sugar
my
and a
spaghetti?
dash of
Yes.
salt.
Yes.
No, I want my spaghetti
I
to
mean,
be
not the
sweet.
salt. I'm
I
saying
just
like
want
it would
that
be
little
like a
acidity
dash of
cut
salt.
off. You know
No,
what
you
I'm
know,
saying?
my
Don't-
mother does something weird.
What's
She
your
puts
weird
salt
food?
on her fruit. I don't know why. I find that
Yeah,
You
my
know,
granny
I
puts
don't
salt
really-
on her watermelon.
Yes.
You know
Watermelon.
what? I put that tahine on my fruit, but that was because I was in the Navy and my Dominican friend taught me that. But
Yeah.
I don't think I have a weird food, but I'm vegan. So y'all know, I
All
gotta
your
make
food
my
weird
own
food.
meat. You know, so I guess everything
Ooh.
I eat is weird, but I make my own meat. I make my own my own everything.
Do you
Right.
eat that soy bacon? The
Right,
Morning
what is
Star?
barbecue?
No, because it's Morningstar. Some Morningstar products has milk and eggs in it.
Reagan here says she will put ranch in her spaghetti.
That's good.
I heard
And
about
I'm
that.
standing with my
That's
sister.
not
That's
bad.
Ranch and spaghetti is good.
I say this, but I think everybody should do it. Baked macaroni and cheese, like when I'm making it, I put spicy brown mustard in it to pop out flavor. Yeah, I do.
That sounds kind of good.
It is. Some people gonna be mad. It's fine. It's delicious. Every Thanksgiving slaps. Everybody bust it down. No complaints.
Wait, you put what in mac and cheese?
So as I'm making it, just not a lot. Just a small tidget of spicy brown mustard. Can't even taste it. It's delicious. Everybody.
I hope it ain't no raisins in there.
Oh no, we don't do.
Oh,
raisins over here.
now you're trying to
Oh,
take
no,
somebody to a family
breadcrumbs.
gathering.
PSA to all white people who might still be watching. I doubt it. But PSA, raisins don't go in fucking potato salad. Raisins
Exactly.
don't go in shit.
I've
Okay?
never
Yeah,
had
what
dried ass
is
motherfucking
that?
raisins
What is
crap.
that?
I don't know. They say it's sweet and saltiness that they like, and they put the raisins, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like, it's so
It's a no.
It's a whole ass
What
no
the hell,
for me.
no?
What do you mean? Like, when did prunes become a big deal in a fucking potato salad? That's what I need to know.
The only thing raisins get mixed with is yogurt.
Period.
So my
Or peanuts.
weird food, I did this when I was pregnant with my oldest, is I would get McDonald's cheeseburgers and I would dip them in the sweet and sour sauce.
I used to do that with my chicken sandwiches from McDonald's.
I do that with the chicken sandwiches still, but I don't think that's as weird as a cheeseburger.
Take
talking
the
about
sweet and
weird
sour
breakfast?
sauce and mix it with the buffalo sauce. That shit slaps.
I dip it in.
I just
barbecue
lost a
sauce
bunch of
for
weight.
me.
Don't
I
make
don't
me
even
gain
know
it
why I'm
back,
talking. I
okay?
don't eat
Don't tell me
McDonald's.
that make me gain it back.
Remember, we have melanin in our taste buds, so we taste certain things that white people can't. Like the flavor pops when we taste certain things that they really can't taste. I just learned that too. Like we have melanin in our taste buds. I didn't even know that.
Word?
Word. There's a video I was
I'm about
watching
to
on
trip
TikTok.
the fuck out.
Yeah,
What?
I know. I'm like, wait, I thought it was just in my eyes. I thought it's in your eyes,
Because
your skin, your taste
is that
buds,
why
your
our
ears.
food be slapping like that? Like, what do you mean?
That's why we hear certain things that they can't.
It makes sense.
What did we be hearing?
I don't know.
So
But
you talk about
it's something.
your weird pregnancy foods. I used to eat flaming hots and pickles when I was pregnant with my son, and with him, I used to eat. I had to have the double stuffed Oreos, and I had to dip it in peanut butter. It tastes like a Reese cup, but that's what
That
I
sounds
had
like
to
it
do.
slaps.
It was good.
That sounds so good.
I've had
Damn, I'm going to the
Oreos.
store tomorrow.
Fried Oreos is good. I've had that. That's delicious.
No, fried Oreos are disgusting. Mm-mm.
I've had
No.
fried
No, I feel
Oreos.
like the
I only
grease
ate
soaks
one.
into the cookie. It's
Like, what's your beef?
gross.
Like, what's up with the fried Oreo? You don't like it? Why don't you like it?
I love that.
Really, I don't even
do.
like Oreos. I just separate it and only eat the cream.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
how
I
I
thought
used to eat everything when I was little. I separated every wafer from the cream, from the cheese, from the frosting. I would eat the frosting, separate the wafers, sit them in a stack, and then I would eat the wafers. And I would dissect pieces of cake. I would separate the frosting from the cake, eat the cake, and then eat the frosting.
Wait, so if someone gave you a slice of cake, you just shave off the icing?
Yeah, I'm cutting that bitch in half. What do you mean? We don't eat whole
the
foods.
frosting on my cake too.
I was weird. I couldn't eat stuff at the same time.
Listen, some people say that my peanut butter and pickles thing is weird. I love it.
So eat them separate. Don't eat them together.
It's true. It's true.
All right, y'all. Let me close this out. Y'all stay on for a little bit. We'll talk backstage. But anyways, I think this discussion was very informative and I think it was very productive. For everybody that's on TikTok. Notice how we disagreed and nobody started attacking each other's character.
That's a fact. Because we didn't have a certain TikTok that's speaking on pro-blackness.
Notice that?
Right.
It's
we didn't have a
possible.
certain TikTok.
Everybody, go home. Have these conversations with your family, with your friends. Because we as Black people need to start working together. I'm Wayward Jessica. This is not your safe zone. I said what the fuck I said. Have a good night and don't be a dick.